How's it going? You're very welcome along to the football pod. Kind of feels like we're on Zoom, just the three of us in the room
Nice
together.
and intimate, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very intimate, yeah. How many are in here? Fire and safety hazard, is it?
yeah, totally. Did anyone make it to Crow Park last night? A few people. There you go.
Fair play.
This is a fairly exclusive group. Thanks very
They're on
much
the
for
rollover.
coming along, lads, and a lot of Football Pod members here. We really appreciate you tuning in across the year. Somebody was listening to us on a Wednesday. That was nice, lads. Pretty
The
good.
Wednesday show.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
better one.
Did you have any trouble finding McGrattan's? No? Happy out? We tried to make it as secret as possible, left it to the last minute. You weren't too sure on that, James, if we should do that. You couldn't find it earlier on.
Secret show, secret guest.
Yeah.
It's a lottery.
Nowhere to park. Did you get sorted?
I parked a mile away. It took me about 40 minutes to walk in.
You'd a serious 4 days planned if Kerry were in
I
this
did.
final.
As soon
You're going
as,
home
soon as
tonight,
Armagh won that game, it fucked my whole weekend. So I had Thursday, the pod last night. Friday tonight. The night before was always a massive night out.
Yeah.
And then the day of the game, down on the train. Maybe a few pints in Clarny that night.
Yeah.
It's a great weekend. And then once they fucked it,
You're-
it was just
Paddy,
ruined it.
You're not arse with Sunday now, like. Aren't you not, like?
No. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Paddy, it's
No.
2024.
Yeah.
In 2023, the 2013 team were honoured in Crow Park on the Friday, and you had a great night, didn't you?
Oh, we
So-
did.
So 2014, 10 years ago, the Kerry team won their All-Ireland. What was Crow Park like today, James?
Oh, I couldn't make it.
Didn't even go.
I
Did
couldn't
you
go.
not go?
I couldn't because the whole team from that is still playing Club Championship, which is on tomorrow in Kerry. So there was going to be nobody there. So it's going to be the
Well, the 01 and 04.
2004 team
Oh, they were there.
was
Kerry
Kerry
as well,
2004
yeah.
team and the
It's a great day. out, like.
94 team.
Great session.
Okay.
You know. So
Crow
it was going to
Park
be
as well,
I think that
so.
was going to be the best day of all time. And then fixtures committees.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
They just
Lot to
don't,
answer for.
they don't care about the players enough.
Who's our guest?
Well, we're just going to keep that in the back pocket for a second. You can all hear okay, can you? That's brilliant. Just to let you know, the bar is open. It's open during the show. Usually we wouldn't keep it open, but apparently there's a bar tab that has to be filled tonight, so drink away. And we will be revealing our guest in a moment. We're here with thanks to AIB, proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship. They had us in Crow Park last night with Stephen McDonald and Paul Clancy. Paddy Andrews slipped away very quickly last night, James, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Different kettle of fish.
I don't
now,
think the show was even wrapped up. He was gone in a taxi.
You were thinking for away the tickets. That happens when you have kids, lads. It's all ahead of you. Use are fucked. Like. I was gone. I was away. I've been awake since 4 o'clock this morning. Like poor little fella. Jesus Christ. So
Stevie Mack was a great guest, wasn't he?
very good.
I didn't know what he was saying half the time, though. I couldn't understand the answer.
I knew. I could see the fear in your eyes.
Because he was sitting next to me and I was trying to look at his lips to see if I could understand what he was saying. I had to look at the big screen to lip read him half the time. Oh, he's a character, though. He speaks... Kerry speak fast. He speaks 200 miles an hour. But
He's a great
he's
bit of
brilliant.
stuff, isn't he?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was good. The buzz for both of them. I know we're going to take the piss a bit. It'd be great if it's Dublin and Kerry again, like last year, all traditional stuff. But having these two teams in the final on Sunday, it is very unique. And just listening to the lads, and obviously a lot of supporters there last night would have been Galway and Armagh based. They both think they're nailed on to win, which is a great place to be.
Class.
But the excitement, they see this is the opportunity for so long. What is it, 22 years since Armagh's only win and 23 years since Galway's last one. So for one team on Sunday, it's going to be the be-all and end-all. You can see the energy from even the two boys, like Clancy and McDonald.
That are
Buzzing. It's like, this is it for them. So I hope it'll be a good final, but me and Jimmy are arse with it, basically.
Well, thanks very much for all of you for listening in all year long and for coming along tonight. It was lovely to put this show on. I think it's time to unmask our special guest.
Go on, Tom Cruise.
Let's get him out here. Aidan O'Shea, would you please come on up?
Hey.
Here we go. Delighted with this. Please put a football pot welcome for the great Aidan O'Shea. Come on, Aidan. Aidan, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks a million for coming out.
Yeah, not a bad full forward line, is it?
Yeah,
We are right.
All right.
I'll go out the front a bit and go back into
Top of the D.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know the boys?
I was thinking about that actually. I think the closest I got to James on the pitch, he made a smart comment to Conor Lane. Do you remember this?
It was a joke.
Yeah, it was a good one. The ball kind of flew over like.
When is this?
This was the 14 drawn game, I'd say. in Croke Park.
Park.
Yeah.
You
But
actually, do you know what happened that time? Before I say the story,
this is obviously lie straight away anyway.
you broke my sternum.
Yeah. It wouldn't
My
be
chest bone. I had to go for an X-ray. I had broken a tiny fracture in my chest bone.
From
And
Aidan?
he typically accusing me of diving.
Yeah.
Like a reckless knee
you
down.
had
With your injury history now, it sounds like brittle bone syndrome or something like that you've got going on.
It was a fucking people's elbow. You did something to me straight into the chest
It's a
bone.
bit dramatic now, but the ball came over like I think it was a long kick out or something like that. Like a ball kind of came in to intercept it. You and Keith were on the way out, and I don't know. There was a bit of a collision, and you turned up to the ref. You're like, "Ref, has to be a free," and he was like, "Big man versus small man, get on with it." And he was like, "Big man," he's like, "I bench 120 kg."
I love that.
And just a little flex in the middle of the pitch.
He was thinking you
But-
doing your shit. So. Who was the ref?
I think it was Conor Lane.
He was bigger at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Giving us nothing.
yeah.
You got a concussion in that game, didn't you?
Following game, yeah.
Ah, okay.
It wasn't.
that
It wa-
Killian?
yeah, I ran into my own teammate. Two big heads now, to be fair, to be run into. But
That was a stroke of luck for
yeah.
us, to be fair. But
Well-
they both had to go off. Did you go down to 13?
yeah, I didn't even realise it was. We came in at half time and it was like, honestly, it was like an A&E. It was like Killian. I didn't know Killian had actually been bleeding, so he played on. I gone off and went into the. I think there was a medical room under in the Limerick dressing room.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was blood everywhere. I was like, this is insane. Doc was like running from one to the other, back and forth, and yeah, it was a bit crazy.
Did
you
he
know, but
stitch you up like?
yeah, he did a pass job on me and did a pass job on him.
Did you both come back on or just one of you?
Killian came back on, and then I came back on sometime in the second half. Memory of it is now it's a bit.
Hazy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game of football.
We got in fairness, I will say we got a good bit of luck that day.
I'm glad you said it.
Because, remember, for the Killian O'Connor
Yeah.
penalty, I don't know if people remember, but a long ball went in and Killian O'Connor caught it on the edge of the square.
It was my missed hit shot. Yeah, it landed.
A
I was
shot dropped short.
Yeah, that's
For
it.
fuck's sake, most dangerous thing in the game. And he took on Shane Enright. And Shane was on a yellow card.
Yeah.
And Killian was through on goals.
Yeah, yeah.
It would
Straight
have been,
red,
it would have been a
like, never mind
guaranteed
that
goal.
else, like.
Took him down, a black card offence. Ref didn't even tick him. He gave the penalty. All right.
Eamon had Mark O'Shea already warming up, and Mark O'Shea had been dropped from the previous week, I think.
Yeah.
And he got him on straight away. And Mark
He
came
just
on
took him on.
and
But if we went down to 14, it's game over.
oh, it
like.
was a totally different
Yeah.
game. Yeah, but
was-
yeah, it was huge. It was a huge decision. But let's not get into it.
We actually had some luck in that year because Durkin kicked Donaghy out the ball in the final then.
He was the worst team to win All Ireland.
Sure, your goal there in the first half. Zippy blocks it down. Just Robbie's on the ground.
Donaghy.
Just lands to Donaghy. Just passed it into the net.
That was planned.
Planned, yeah. What an assist.
Coldrick wasn't a referee. It was a Mead referee though, but it wasn't Coldrick or Goff.
Cormac
Cormac
Riley.
Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cormac
Okay.
Riley.
Yeah,
There you
Cormac
go.
Riley was all right now. Yeah. Cormac was good.
yeah, a real good friend. Yeah.
Did you knock it on?
Yeah, I think we had the next time I saw him was a friendly game, but 5 years later. I don't know why he went off the scene after that game, but you know.
Something.
Yeah, so,
Maybe we'll save that story for off here. We're going to chat with Aidan for the next 45 minutes or so, but I think we'll offer up a couple of questions from the crowd as well. So you're more than welcome to ask your questions later. I'll ask you. Sometimes when we do this, the questions can be, well, it's not that they can be long, but they can be kind of pointed at everybody. So maybe just pick one person that you want to ask a question to, and the lads will answer you as best as they can. So we'll do about 15 minutes of that later on. And I think we have a mic, Kathleen, but the room was small enough that
Tight
I
enough,
just kind of
we'll be
shouted
alright.
out
We'll be
later on
alright.
as well. So just put the hand up later. I was asking you about that because that wasn't the first time you met James. What was the first time you met James at Donaghy?
yeah, he was kind of like a mythical creature as an 18-year-old. We 2008. We were minor.
2008, yeah.
We were minor in 2008, the same year. But he'd been injured for Kerry.
Came from Donaghy injured.
Yeah, again, surprise, a broken sternum, I hear. But no, he came on in the semi-final in Croke Park, and we'd all heard about James O'Donnell this, James O'Donnell that, and we were like, this fella must be outrageous. It was like, you know, when you're young, you're kind of going around and you haven't seen these people, but yeah, no, he came on and I think he had a snapshot to win the game at the very end.
I said, well, 4 wides on the spin. I'd say.
Cute on the side.
Trigger happy.
Was that your first time playing in Croker?
Yeah.
So you were just like mad.
But those
I want to get a
posts-
score. Like
Those
yeah.
posters are calling you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
could be
yeah.
anywhere.
From-
You're just
from
trying to
anywhere.
boot it. And that was back in the day of no scoring zones. Once you were inside the 45, it was
Bang.
pull the
Brilliant.
trigger like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Class.
And you drew that day.
We drew that day.
And then
Yeah.
you hammered them in Ennis, I think.
I don't know. Did you play? Did you start the following week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The following week, yeah.
Yeah, we played in
Yeah.
Limerick. A different result to the one in 2014, but
Okay.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, yeah.
Who did you have on that team?
Shane Nally was our captain. Went on to play a little bit with us. Robbie was in goal. Kevin Kane, full back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couple.
What happened to Kevin Keane then?
Did his cruise shoot. Yeah, he played.
He
Yeah,
played. He was on the
shoot.
squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
Who was
He
on
finished up early though.
Who came through? You had a big crowd coming through from that age group.
We'd load, yeah. We had Brian Kelly was in goals, won the All-Ireland. Fionn Fitzgerald was captain of that Ireland team.
Crowley.
Peter Crowley, Barry John Keane, Barry John Walsh, Paul Gainey.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
So
Yeah,
Mayo bet
we
you
were-
the semi-final and then All-Ireland final. What happened then?
We drew again, and then as
What did James say earlier?
James said it was the Kyle Coney show, which he
Kyle
wasn't
Coney
wrong. To be
final.
fair,
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
yeah, he was outrageous. We lost Tyrone in a replay in Longford, which after extra time was an outrageous.
That was some
it was an
season,
outrageous game. Yeah,
A lot of those minor games stand out to me. But I was kind of getting into this a little bit. We'd started the football pod back in 2021, and Andy Moran was on it the first year, and we didn't really know what way it was going to go. Paddy and Andy had never actually spoken, you know, outside of the pod. Like, he played against each other loads of times. But that's kind of a thing, isn't it? That, like, when you're playing against each other, you don't really get to mingle with other kind of counties.
No.
It doesn't really happen.
yeah. No, I think we were. Were you?
You wouldn't know Paddy, really, would you?
No,
No,
no.
just from.
Should the Doves don't talk to anyone
Yeah,
when they're playing?
Can't shut us
Fucking
up now when you finish.
Robots. Huh?
I think it was one, I don't know if you probably don't remember this. I think it was 1 week of a final, and I don't know why I was in Dublin, but we were. I was in Dundrum with probably one of the brothers, and you were walking down one side of Dundrum, and Dundrum it's not that, it's only like twice the size of this width here. Yeah. And they're both kind of just like, I was kind of going to go, just give him a nod, like whatever, but he just like, no, just go away and just keep going.
Ignorant bastard, like.
Give me one of these.
Okay, fair enough. That's the way it's going to be.
Well, it's funny, like we all say it, like when you're in and when you're playing, like you don't want to talk to anyone outside, like particularly if there's any, you'd probably talk to teams that you weren't competing with, because they're not really a threat or a rivalry there. But with Kerry, with Mayo, Tyrone, probably that time, Donegal as well. Like when you were in, and fuck everyone else. Really, was the attitude. There was
It's
no
a bubble, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and maybe it doesn't need to be like that. I don't know, but it is, and it's still like that now. And I was saying to you, Aidan, earlier on, you're still in it. When you finish, you take a step back and you do realise, Jesus, all the lads you would basically try and kill for 10 years or however long it is, 15 years, we're all pretty similar. Like, we're all just trying to do the same thing for our
I
counties.
think you just build it up in your head. You know, it's like it's just the way the environments are. You know, and then there's not the crossover that would have been previously. Like, we've gotten rid of all-star trips, we've gotten rid of interpros, we've gotten rid of
Railway Cup.
all Railway Cup.
University is probably the only
fun
bit.
fact. I was the last captain to lift the Railway Cup. It's a fun fact.
That's
You
what
were-
I have.
yeah.
Yeah, chalk that.
I was.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. So, but like those games, like for example, the boys playing the weekend, like Conroy, would have got shown Conroy through that. We would have had a night out afterwards, a couple of months in for the medals, bit of crack. They're all gone. So kind of, and like I realised, you probably, as you say, kind of build it up, and then I think Kenya a couple of years ago would lower them, and then you kind of just realise just all the same, you know, and you kind of put away the kind of show you put on when you go out in the field for 70 minutes, and we're just doing the same stuff. You
But
know?
it's gas. You look at it now, and I'd still be close with a lot of Dublin lads as well. It's just you're different when you're out. You are out. It's
Even with the lads that you played with.
oh yeah. Now after the season, it's back to normal again. But during the season, it is maybe we took it to the extreme. But I think a lot of the top teams, you look, it's within your camp and anyone on the outside, and whether that's right or wrong, that's just the way it is. You know, so there's not. We didn't. Dublin players and Mayo players wouldn't have hung around or been at gigs or anything together. That was just the way it was. Like.
But
Yeah,
even if you do hear that one of your players is great buddies with someone on a different team, you're thinking, why the fuck are you friends with him? You are. Like,
There is
what
a
are you
bit of
doing?
it. Genuine. It sounds.
You always have to
Is it what
hide
it
your
is?
friendship to someone on another team. It's so strange. Like,
Well, like we went on the what year did we go to Boston on the All-Star trip?
yeah.
Like the dub, like was mad. Like, well, obviously the rivalry at the time was sharp, of
course
you know.
it was, yeah.
And like literally, the Dublin players just went that way, and the Mayo players went that way. And the only Keane O'Sullivan was the only one who kind of just bridged the gap a little bit, just for about 5 minutes, and then we just avoided each other for the whole week. For the whole, yeah.
Keenan
The
is
Donegal-
very diplomatic.
It was
like,
a
and
fact.
he's so beautiful. As
The
well.
Donegal lads were good.
Yeah,
Good
great
neutral.
crack.
They
Yeah.
don't give a
fair
fuck
to them,
about
they,
anyone.
they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
give a fuck. Yeah, they're straight into
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
No
yeah.
matter
You
who
going
it
for a
is.
pint? Yeah, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
No matter
Of
what.
course
like.
they're-
I think we need to bring some of these things back. The All-Star trips.
Not the Railway Cup, Tom.
Yes.
Oh, bring it back. Bring it back.
I
You
think so.
Hey, no, you have a great piece of
Please
history
give
there.
us
You
tell
don't
us
want
why.
to do it.
Just
now.
for a
Well, that's
minute.
true, yeah.
The last captain, like.
Because Stevie Mack wanted to bring back the international rules. He loved that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Find a way to make it work.
I know, but like watching it, some people hate it, but like I watch AFL. Shouldn't say this out loud, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning, like
Would
watch
you?
it. Oh yeah, consistent.
Not just the clips, the matches.
No, the full matches.
Oh, it's a long match, isn't it?
They're
Brilliant.
Jeez.
Brilliant.
Too long.
International rules, brilliant.
But
You
you
had a
know,
chance to go.
I've done it.
You played it. Yeah.
I played.
Played
yeah,
with
but-
No,
Ireland,
but
yeah.
go to Australia like proper.
Yeah, but like I did. Yeah, I remember God rest his soul, Jono persuading me and oh yeah, just not go basically. But he just said go enjoy the trial, Richmond and Western Bulldogs. Went over for 2 weeks, and yeah, it was enjoyable. And I signed they wanted me to sign like a pre-contract for the following year. And to be honest, with you, I came to Dublin, figured out that calories actually impact my weight and my football, and I'm shy. So, so I'd say Jono was closer to dropping me than he'd further set me off to Australia. To be honest, but
You went DIT that time, didn't you?
Yeah,
You wanted
yeah.
Sigerson and
following year, first year I was at home doing my leaving cert, and sure, Mum was looking after me and all that good stuff, and came a little bit too easy. I'd marked like Finian Hanley in my first game starting and scored 1-1 and not being boastful here. And I was in the next game was like Conor Gormley. I was like, geez, that's senior inter-county crack is easy, you know. And then they all came crashing down about 6 months later. I was in college and having way too many calories every day. So I was just about getting the game the following year at Mayo. So I think that interest died pretty quickly.
would it have appealed to you? Because it strikes me that you live your life like a professional footballer, like many inter-county players do nowadays.
It would have interested me, but I think at the same time, I from those chats with Jono and then even Dad, like Dad didn't want me going anywhere. I remember we lost to Longford that year, and New York Leitrim were on to me to come out and play, and there was whatever the conversations happened. Dad was managing the local team. He's like, that's great. Yeah. He's like, you're not going anywhere. I was like, but yeah, New York, summer. He was like, look at him. He's like, it's just not happening. So I was like, that was fine. But I would have, there was a slight chance when I went over to Australia a couple of years later on the international rules. I had a conversation with a club at the time who were asking me to see would I be interested in doing it. And life had moved on in terms of where I was, and I was settled in. Like, I was very lucky with the way football planned out in terms of Mayo. So it wasn't really something I was interested at the time.
So you've got a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah.
A lot going on right now.
Yeah,
You bumped
a lot
into each
going
other
on.
earlier on in town and you were on your way to pick up a suit.
I was picking up some bits and bobs for the wedding, all right, yeah.
2 weeks, is it?
I was supposed to pick it up last week, but I had a bit of a stag, so...
Bit of a stag.
Bit of a stag, yeah. I
Couple
missed
stag.
the first day of my stag for a club game, which is a bit ridiculous.
What?
But, we had a club game last weekend. The stag was Saturday, and the boys proceeded without me, so there was no issue there.
Is that a thing? Does that happen?
That can happen.
Yeah, we had a chance of staying up, or we went to a relegation playoff. I was telling the lads,
Okay.
and it's on next Friday now, which would have given me a clean run into the wedding, but we had to win the game and hope for a couple of results to go our way. There was a convenient draw for anybody from Davits and Park listening. Yeah, there's a convenient draw I'm questioning, but anyway, it's neither here nor there. But the wedding, 2 weeks today.
But you know, isn't like you're talking about international rules or bringing back the Railway Cup or anything like that. Even with the split season, which is getting a lot of airtime and people giving out about it and this, that, and the other, there is so much going on. There's no windows for these types of games. There's obviously the hurling. Should it go to a replay or not this year? Like, we just rather get this thing finished. Sunday is going to be unbelievably tight. You can see that going extra time again, possibly a replay. There's so much in the calendar already. Players are being asked to play so many games. You look at Cliff is the most high-profile fella. He has played about 1 million fucking matches in the last 2 years, and he is running on empty. And he's being asked by, you guys have about 20 club championships down in Kerry as well, so you don't help yourselves.
They're all very important.
But trying to add in then, we should bring back the international rules, or we should bring back the Railway Cup, which are unbelievable events in their own right. But there just doesn't seem there's
What about my
time
what
to
about
play
my
these things.
proposal for the Railway Cup? And I think this
Go
this
on.
is the answer, because I would love to see you boys in action. I reckon retired inter-county players over the age of 30, under the age of 40, before they can play Masters, they line out into provincials.
I mean, I can hardly walk this length of this room with me back. Never mind try and play.
I
Railway
think
Cup.
if that could be a little middle ground
But
there.
if you're like this weekend, like for supporters coming to games, like there's
Saturday,
one
maybe?
game. Like you imagine, like you look at other sports across the world, like the AFL make a festival of the week of their like there should be games on like watching other players tomorrow. Like the All-Ireland final should be the pinnacle, and there should be something on like Saturday that supporters can go and watch. Like it just. I think we're missing an opportunity there around something like there should be no games in any county, in my opinion, the weekend of the All-Ireland final.
Yeah,
It should
I think it's a good
should be
point.
sacred, and we should do something more to just promote.
Yeah.
But I think we say in Dublin was it
Great point.
and in August it's coming back the college American football.
Yeah.
They took over the whole city for a week. They closed down fucking James Street.
College Green, yeah.
You know,
How many Galway and Armagh fans were down last night with us? I don't know, is there many here now?
But
Yeah.
there's a few, like I said, the
What
lads
have we
are
got,
on the
Armagh?
the lads are on the rollover for the next 4 days. Like.
Yeah, but they should be. But they
No,
should
but
be.
I agree, and I think the GAA kind of are trying to maybe address this somehow. Like, but I totally agree, particularly with the hurling last weekend, football this weekend. The season they're condensed everything in. You have a window here from Friday to Sunday to.
So you're thinking Railway Cup Saturday? Anyone not involved?
It
in
doesn't
All-Ireland
even have
final?
to be serious. There could be a bit of crack. Like, like I remember playing All Ireland weekend out in Kilmacud. Like, and
Sevens,
like,
yeah.
it was unbelievable crack. Like, and there was people who just wanted to go and watch it, and they would go religiously to it and see it. Like, so I think there's definitely something.
You were playing against one of our guests last night.
Yeah, Stevie from Clevie. He was in goal for we played Clevie and
Fly keeper, was he?
Fly keeper. I was myself and Rob were 17 or 18 at the time.
Did he spend any time in the goal?
He was unreal. Honestly, I was like, this was brilliant. Like, I think he maybe just retired. He was unbelievable. In goal, up the field, kick outs, saving goals, everything.
Did he retire young enough today?
Retired at 11. He captained Armagh that year and retired in 11. So
That'll be right, yeah.
he would have been 90. He would have been 18, 19, and 99. So, geez, my maths aren't working now. This late in the week. So 32, maybe.
32, yeah.
But sure, you were young enough when you retired. What were you? 28.
I'm still 28. Yeah, no, I was 32,
Go on,
yeah. 31, 32. Yeah.
Paddy, what were you?
Do you know, it's plenty time because otherwise you're... What age are you now?
Too easy now.
Hey, no, they're trying to lead you into something here.
31.
They're just trying to lead them in.
Paddy, what were you?
32, great.
You
age
retired.
to go,
How old are you now?
It's a great age to go.
I was 34 there 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Wow. And you've just broken the record for outfield championship appearances. Stephen Cluxon is away on his own as the goalkeeper, but you overtook Sean Kavanagh during the summer there. And
Yeah.
you're moving as good as ever? Am I right in saying that? Is that a fair observation?
Yeah, it's a mad old stat, to be honest with you, but you never would have thought you'd get there, but it's not something we as players don't even look at that stuff, but it's just like all of a sudden somebody says to you, this where you're at, but
It's class though. It is cool.
it's cool enough, I suppose, but it's not something I kind of think about or anything like that. It's just and not being a boring answer, but like I always say to the boys, everybody's got loads of talented players in Kerry or Dublin or wherever it is. I say, like, unless you're available to play, don't come. There's no point being the best footballer in Cavan or Armagh and you're injured all the time. So I always say, like, I've been very lucky. I've been available for every single championship game since I started playing, bar one. So you're bound to play a lot of games. But
Is that a fluke, Aiden, that you're available for
There's
every
probably a bit,
championship
yeah,
round?
100%.
Or
There's a
are you
bit of-
doing something? Are you?
No, I think there's a bit of luck in it, obviously, because sometimes you're going to get caught in a contest and break a sternum
A malicious attack.
assault, yeah. But no, I think as you get older, you're a bit more, in terms of prep and lifestyle and all that good stuff.
So once they got you out of Dublin,
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get home, to be honest. Yeah, it was a great 4 years.
Lots of distractions here.
Yeah, a lot of distractions. So no, I couldn't get out of here quick enough.
But it's funny, you do say it, like, I was on the scrap heap by the time I finished. You had a bad run, Jimmy, with injuries. A lot of players, it's the best time of your life. It is. And I hope my wife and young son don't see this. But,
you go definitely listen.
but it's very difficult to replicate the buzz and the excitement you get, just that environment for however long you're lucky to experience it for. And it's one of the hardest things you'll do when you step away. Sometimes it's easier because you don't have a choice. Your body just won't let you play at that level anymore. But I would always say it. It's a very personal decision for any player. Even if they feel they can still do it, and the manager's giving them a look on, you should probably hang up those boots. It's if they feel they've something to offer, and your body is okay. I would always say, why would you leave? It is the best time. It's a privilege to be out there, and it's a testament to you, Aidan, because you're right. You start out playing. It's highly competitive, particularly in the counties we're in. There's lots of competition. There's lots of pressure, and we are competing at the very, very highest level of it. But to do it for as long as you've done, and if the body's good, keep the show on the road, man.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of. I always feel as well. There's an onus on like it's easy to just kind of walk away in one way, as in like, you know, I've played for so long and just walk away. But like I still feel there's a responsibility in terms of whoever might be, like Jim Duffy, young player in Mayo at the moment, come true. Like, you know, I'm sure he, you know, I can teach him a thing or two, and you know, and like if that means I'm not playing, and that's fine. But at least I still feel like I can add value in terms of that. If that is going forward, and if I'm happy to be there and do that for them, well then, you know, that's important. I think, you know, because like, you know, I see players and I feel they kind of go before they should, and they could add a little bit more just for a little bit longer. I know it's very much a personal decision, but that's the way I see it, and I'm lucky enough that life has been good to me and allowed to do it.
The only thing is, what's worse sometimes in retiring is not being any good, like anymore. Do you know what I mean? Say if you thought at one stage this comes easy, or you know, I'm beating this fella in training, I'm still, and then you see yourself not as quick or not as powerful, or maybe missing more shots because you can't get to the field as much because your fucking groin is at you. Do you know, like those things add up and weigh on you.
Did you struggle with that?
I did, because I used to be a fella I used to want to touch the ball every day. So I'd have my few kicks and then go train the following day and maybe do something small the day after. I wasn't big into the gym. And that's how I got kind of sharp.
How you dislocated your shoulder.
Except for the bench. There was a horse in the bench. But then once I couldn't get onto the field that many times, I started
It impacts your
noticing.
skill. Like.
Yeah, your skills start
100%.
coming down. And then I was completely reliant on skill because I didn't really have anything else. I wasn't big, strong man or anything like that. So I was relying on skill. Once that went, I was like, this is a fucking slog now, like, you know. And then everyone's kind of saying, you know, he's not as good as he was or whatever. Like, that is mentally draining then. It's a tough place to be, like, isn't it?
Yeah, it is,
And then
yeah.
sometimes you probably have to go because you're not. I've seen fellas not be a good influence around the place, or they might be giving out, they're taking off, and it's just sometimes a clean break at the right time is just right.
Because not everyone can be a good influence either. Like sometimes certain players, they can't be that player that you're talking about that can offer a little bit, be a good sub. Do you know? I'm sure Dublin had good subs. I'm sure Dublin had very bad subs, Paddy, as well. Players that wanted to start no matter what.
Yeah, but it does come back. You try and emphasise the environment that you need to be able to help your teammates. And everyone, there's 35 players. This is a big topic, obviously, for this weekend. The impact off the bench from Galway and Armagh that they'll get.
It's amazing.
Everyone wants to start. Everyone wants to play. And the reality is there's going to be 20 odd guys in the dressing room at any time that are getting not great news from Desi Farrell or Jim or any of the coaches with you guys. You can't be a prick about it. Like, you can't. And it's one of the great lessons you learn from team sport at any level, but particularly at operating at an elite level in Gaelic football like we did. If you're being an asshole around the place, your teammates will let you know about it. And you just can't. It's not conducive. You're not going to enjoy it. And I tell you what, your teammates will tell you about it as well. So there's times where you're frustrated with things, particularly like injuries and stuff, or you feel like you should be playing and you're not. But you got to think about their team and the environment around you. It can't just be about you. And maybe at times when Dublin, maybe when I was starting my career and Dublin weren't as successful as they were, maybe that could creep in at times and it doesn't help the group. So you just need to be conscious.
But Bernard and Paul Flynn to be a great example of that. Like, they didn't play a lot the very last year.
the end, yeah.
You know, and they could have easily walked away with a pocket load of medals and just said, you know, I'm done. But they didn't. They stayed around and did exactly what you said.
Hush fellas and A versus B games and all of that. Yeah, you can see it. Like.
And the younger players as well. You have to, like what you said there, but younger players coming into a team, you know, it's funny when you start out, you're a fan and you love the game. You watch the Sunday game religiously and there's an innocence about it. And the closer you get towards the top of the sport, the less innocence is there and it becomes really, really ruthless. And maybe the enjoyment at times isn't there all the time.
Do you find that?
I'm probably at the other, like, back, over at the other side.
Has it come back around for you?
Yeah,
You get to the
100%.
end,
Yeah.
and you go, you're breaking in, and then you're a starter, and you're the star, and everything's so serious, and then you realise I mightn't have much longer left doing this, and you try and enjoy it a bit more again.
Yeah.
It's the cycle of it, but it's funny, you know. It can be really, really ruthless, but it can be the best time of your life as well, and I would have found when I was coming towards the end, I kind of knew that was my last season, the COVID year, which was unfortunate because it was a kind of shitty year for everyone. You would have had it with injuries, kind of going, this could be it. You do just try and drag some sort of enjoyment out of it, because once you hang up the boots, that is it.
Yeah.
You ain't going back. You've got, touch wood, 50, 60 years of living after it, but you're not going to be that guy anymore, and it's...
Well, you have 3 years of railway cup if Tommy gets it.
I'm working on it.
You need to fucking sell
Myself
me
and
that.
Donnelly, we'll get it going.
That's a hard sell.
We'll get it
That
on.
would be
Leave
a
it with
hard
us.
sell.
I'm not going to linger on this, but I don't get the sense that that's a bugbear of yours. The only reason I'm bringing it up is Joe Canning did an interview on Off the Ball a couple of years ago at 11 a.m. and he was asked if he was retiring, and he said no. And at 3 o'clock he did an interview in the papers and he retired. So it's gone down an infamy.
World
so
exclusive,
just don't do it to me.
No, I won't. No, like like it's kind of the seasons are so weird, like because you're like literally finished. I'm finished 4 or 5 weeks now, and then we don't play again for so long. So it's kind of just
It is mad. Yeah.
it is mad. Like we finished, we lose an All-Ireland final, and then we're back 6-7 weeks later, and you're back. You know, and you're back in the bubble, and everything goes. So you're away from it for a long time. So
There's a bit of a mental break there as well, I suppose.
and
Isn't
then
there?
you're playing club football now for the next 6 months. And to James's point, like if you're not playing well at club level, like you just got to go out and play well at club level, and if you feel good come October, November at the end of this year, hopefully.
But even, honestly, having a good club behind you is so important as well. Like I saw fellas maybe lose their place with Kerry and go back playing club championship. They're playing junior club championship where they're struggling to get a team. Fellas, they're nearly pulling them out of the pub to play. Like they're not getting any
Nothing
exposure.
wrong with that.
I know, but like in terms of getting your form back, then you're finished with Kerry and there's such a come down. It's like they're finished forever. Do you know?
Okay.
Like I was so lucky to be able to go back to the club and still play football, because otherwise I would have. You didn't play any club after you left, did you?
For the year, yeah.
A year, yeah. Like it's not. You need a strong club behind you to take the burden or to like take the time. You still need to give football some element of time.
You're obsessed with the Legion, though. You won't even have a pint tonight.
Yeah, no. Clean living back.
It's a pro, isn't
That's
it?
good. We've
Order
both
pro.
done Hook Up in November. I have to stay right for that.
So this weekend we have an All Ireland final. You've played in a few.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy them? I know it's a weird question, but the occasion of it, the event of it, can you appreciate that? Like it's a big deal this weekend.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed some of them. Obviously, up until some of them where we lost at the end, but no, I definitely enjoyed the build up, and some of those games were obviously tit for tat. Some of them were a bit sore, I would say. Was one or two. The Tyrone one was hard one, and then maybe probably the first one as well, because it was the very first one that we were in. But yeah, no, look, I think it's a very enjoyable experience. It's a lot different as well, because 2 weeks. You win an All-Ireland semi-final in the old system. You had 4 weeks.
Yeah,
you know, like or 4 or 3 weeks.
5 and 98.
Like
Yeah.
it's mad. Like
like a new
whereas
season.
now it's upon you like that.
You nearly do 2 weeks of fitness work after
Yeah,
semi-final,
exactly, yeah.
preparation for the final.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think they're obviously massive occasions, and definitely look back at them in terms of the All-Ireland final. You know, enjoyably, but not obviously the result.
You're incredibly accustomed to this Galway side, but have you gone toe to toe with this Armagh side in recent years that much? Like league football, they've been up and down a little bit.
We played them in a challenge game in January.
Oh yeah.
In Pierce Park in Longford. They were playing actually mechanical final on the same day, and they came down with it. Like we were like, "Sure, mechanical finals on tonight. There's no way they're playing us today." So they came down with like a stronger team to play us in the challenge game. Madness. And all I remember is there was like it's the challenge game, so like subs kind of rolling in, rolling off, and something happened that we ended up having like 16 players. Like, you know, when somebody's walking off, kick out came out, somebody got it and just flicked it off to one of the boys, and he was the 16th man walking off. McGeaney went absolutely berserk, right? And Ryan was on the sideline, and the two of them nearly became to like he was like, one of them was calling him down, the other fellow was calling, "Come on, let's go," like that kind of stuff. I was like, what is going on here? This is absolutely insane. But
There was obviously a very famous Armagh Dublin challenge game in DCU back in 2015.
There was.
Were you there that day?
Was it?
I was playing, yeah.
Did you hop the fence or were you playing?
No, I was playing.
There was a brawl, all out brawl.
They don't do challenge matches much now. It's they're coming to play like.
Did David
that was
Byrne end up
hectic.
in hospital after that?
I can't remember really.
Somebody did. Somebody ended up in hospital.
It was spicy now, yeah. From the throw-in.
he's back in the bubble, you can see. He's gone back in there.
I was just thinking, has anyone actually told this story?
We're in front of a very small crowd here, Paddy.
Has
We
anyone
can
told
share.
this story since we've retired?
Jim Gavin has just whispered in his
I
ear.
don't think it's just he's omnipresent. He's around somewhere. No, I was actually playing that match. It was hectic though. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was during. It was kind of.
14, 15, was it?
It might have been 15, but it was like early in the championship, so it was like that. There was gaps of 3 weeks between games, so we might have played a Leinster championship game, and this might have been the Tuesday night. And again, Armagh kind of came with a full crew, and we had some lads training down St Clair's DCU where we train, and we're playing on the top pitch, and we were lining up, and the ref was coming out to throw the ball in, and
Dublin Joe refereeing it, was he?
I can't remember who was reffing it. It might have been just a local club ref, because it was like totally behind closed doors, and there was just this commotion. You turned around, and it was like the Royal Rumble, like unbelievable. And then everyone's coming in from the side.
Which end?
Forward end. So I was playing centre forward, and it was kind of happening in the back corner behind me, and I just seen lads flying across the pitch, and there was just
Right, so that's Bernard Brogan or
I can't remember, but it was full on, yeah, for about 10 minutes.
if you got sent off that time in a challenge match, you were suspended for.
Not in this one, like
This one, nothing came out from this one.
Yeah.
Like very little came out. There was a couple of interviews, but very little came out. Like
But I think you'd have to have a word with the ref there, because if they do carry that in a report, you can be.
No, that's why I think it was like whenever I was arranged, it was like some fucking lad. We pulled him out of a bar and gave him a whistle, go ref this. Maybe that's why it descended into absolute chaos. But yeah, I've a couple of challenge matches with Armagh. We used to play Monaghan all the time as well.
but that was the makings of it. Gilroy brought you down to
Gilroy used to bring us down and played Monaghan. Banty was
In
the
Cloghan.
coach. And the two, you swear to God, Gilroy and Banty be talking for about 2 minutes before throwing. What are they talking about? And the two of them were just saying, tell your lads to come out and fucking mill our lads. Like, and the same thing, Dick Clerk and Owen Lennon and all these.
because you
lads.
used to have O'Gara,
Yeah.
Cawley,
War.
Mastic, yeah,
And we'll walk on
Billy.
the pitch, match would be abandoned, and Giller and Banty would be delighted. That was great. Great night's work. And we're going, what was the fucking point of that? No football played, but it was maybe, I don't know, it was, coaches have different agendas in their head. Like, none of this free-flowing football and those challenge matches. Jesus.
I reckon tomorrow will start off like that.
Do you actually?
I do.
We
I
got
don't
it
know
obviously
the
at the end of
final.
normal time. It's
We
22.
when we played Gian, was it 17? And do you remember everyone was on the deck fighting before.
But that was a
before
very
the game.
tense
In-
game.
I think
Limerick.
everyone knew.
The game
No,
in
it's 17.
No, you marked
Croke
Donaghy
Park.
that day.
Oh, Croker, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went full back from the throw-in.
Never go back to the full back line.
No.
No benefit.
You did.
No,
am I
I
right?
tried the throw up and then went back. Then yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was.
What was that like?
We
Scary
half
place,
thought
but-
it might be coming right, but
Why? How did you
No,
know?
because DB, like there was, like I
Oh,
literally,
Brady said it.
yeah, DB like completely oblivious, and like I hadn't trained there, nothing, and then I like got a call to meet Rachi on the Saturday evening after we trained, and everybody else had played in there like in training, and I gone in as the Donaghy, and meets me for coffee, and he's like, "Come here, thinking about playing you full back next week." Like two choices, I could say no or just go sound. So I just said, "Okay, sound, let's do it." So. That was it, and I literally trained there on the Wednesday, and the boys didn't even know fully because I only did like a few high balls in,
Yeah.
and that was it. But it was bizarre. Like it's the scariest place. Like honestly,
Horrendous.
God, like
It is.
the amount is like the way Mayo play, like the amount of space in front of you. I was just there going, "Oh my God, if they kick it there, I'm bothered to kick it there." I said, "This is honestly the scariest place in the
What I
world."
found going back, it was like, you know football so well. It's probably the one thing in your life you're a total expert in. You've played it since you were 3 or 4 years of age. You've been playing at a high level from development squads the whole way up, all the coaching, and you feel like, I'm comfortable anywhere on a football pitch. You talk to me about this or explain, I'll get this. And then you go back into the full back line and you're like, I haven't a fucking clue what I'm doing here. Like, and then
different
you
world.
turn around and go, you go on to the gooch then. And then you know you're totally fucked. And it was the one time where I was totally nervous. You're out of your comfort zone completely. And
It's awful.
it's horrendous. It's such a specialised position. I had a respect for them having been back there. And I'd always say, well, we're analysing games and stuff, and we're talking about it on the pod, and cornerbacks have a bad day. I'd always be going, oh, that can happen. That can happen to anyone.
What was
understand
what
what's
was Donaghy saying to you when you went back?
I never should have.
He didn't say anything to me to start with, and but like I like pure naively, somebody was running off his shoulder, and I think it was Stephen O'Brien or something. That first ball he wins it, and I was like, surely he's going to Stephen O'Brien, so I just moved over to him, and he just turned over onto his right foot, took a solo, curled it over the bar. I was like, oh fuck! I was like, here we go. And then there was a bit of chirping going on, and then Shamey got dispossessed in the 45, and Stephen O'Brien ran in the goal, and he was roaring at me. He was like. Just like, and I was just like, I couldn't say anything, and like, you know, I don't even know what fullbacks usually do. Like, you know, I was like, what's acceptable to say back here? So I was like, kind of going. Then I won a ball, and I was like getting a bit more
But
confident.
any
I was
ball
like,
you won, like the crowd fucking loved it as well. So usually for us, when Donaghy won a ball, it was
Yeah.
the crowd loved it. But if Aidan came out with one, then it was like twice as nice. But then, like after the draw that day, for the replay, it was a replay that time, wasn't it?
It was,
17. Was a replay.
Well,
Well, was replay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
and
Yeah.
he gets a
And
couple of goals.
everyone knew when the ball was going to be thrown in that it was just going to kick off.
How do you know?
There's
I
games.
suppose
where you know,
you just know it's simmering all the time, and then the ref just went down to pick up the ball, and like that, he looked around and there was just 10 pairs on the ground,
But it was
and it was 1-on-1. There was no everyone coming into a different fight. Everyone had their own.
Was
fight in it.
was there any badness, or was it just?
It was, I suppose, a bit.
Oh, 14 from 14. There was a bit of a hangover from 14, I'd say.
I think it was just from the first day.
Yeah.
It was like, I know. I thought from our point of view, it was like we have to physically up it a bit. So if there's anything going on before throwing,
Yeah.
you fucking take it to the last. Like go to the point without getting sent off. But like that's why on Sunday I would be shocked if it wasn't the most physical, aggressive, in your face game. I just think that both sides can bring it, especially Armagh. I think Armagh can instigate it and try and intimidate Galway a bit. I think Galway have it in them as well. But I am expecting it to be.
Do you think it'll boil over? Like,
I think it's going to be simmering all the way. I think it'll have flashpoints.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's
Like you've physically gone up against Galway in very, very tight games in recent years.
yeah. I wouldn't say there is antagonising, let's say, in Armagh. So I agree with that point. I think it'll be interesting to see just how direct Armagh are early doors. Like they were quite direct against Kerry early doors. But will they resort to kind of holding possession? I don't think so. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to actually roll the dice a little bit with the ball early doors.
Sure.
I think it's the best
so.
chance.
Yeah,
I think it's the
they
best
will.
chance to win it.
And go along into
I think they're gonna
Murnan
go-
Why wouldn't you?
and Turbot.
I
Or put
think
Rian O'Neill in there.
I think Rian O'Neill. You'll see Rian O'Neill in there. I think they're going to. I think they're going to kick the ball. Like they've got good kickers of the football,
They do, yeah.
and they can. Like we talked about diagonal ball earlier on about Stephen McDonald and stuff. I think they're going to go and kick the ball, which I hope from a spectacle perspective they do. And like I know you were asking about Armagh. Like the mad thing is like Armagh have like I looked at their bench for the weekend. Like it's insane. Like they're literally all their subs. You could say
Could
if you
play.
put them in, like you're not making them up or down. You know, so like it's.
What do you like? Do you like that? Like that they can turn to a Ross McQuillan or a Jarly O'Burns
Campbell,
or a Stephen Campbell.
Nugent,
Campbell,
Duffy.
Nugent, Duffy. They're
Like,
strong. Like.
When you're on the field, do you like that coming off the bench, or would you like that to be starting?
as in their team.
Yeah, if you were say out there, like
Oh no, like they've got like I think they're just blessed with a lot of really good players at the moment, and like there's not you couldn't look at anybody that's starting and go, well, you know, like you can see the logic in terms of what they're doing. So I think like we had that problem with Dublin where you're going right. You usually go into a game and you're like some of the teams got about maybe 18 or 19 players, but like you're looking at Dublin, you're going they've probably got 5 plus another couple that they're going to bring on. They only bring on 5, but they could bring on maybe 7 or 8, and you got to think about that. So like for Galway, they're going to have to think about those guys coming off the bench, which is a big advantage, I think, for Armagh.
The biggest thing you say with all of them, and we spoke this before on the pod, and this was a big thing for Dublin this year with Jack McCaffrey's call.
yeah,
Like coming off the bench, the bigger pace in Crow Park, the last quarter, it's going to be flat to the mat from the first whistle. Space opens up, no matter how defensive or how structured, and both these teams are really strong defensively. It's really key strength for them, how well they're set up and how hard they're to play against. But even with that, there will be space in that final quarter, and the biggest plus coming off the bench is pace and athleticism. If you have guys like that, they don't need to be the best footballers. Armagh have really quality players, but the key attributes of McQuillan, Jarly O'Burns, Campbell, they're lightning. And that is, if you've just played 55 minutes and you see that coming off the bench, it's why we would have used it with McMenamin famously or McCaffrey last year for Dublin. It's just hard. You're running on empty and you know you've got a live wire coming on. It's such an advantage. Galway have impact off the bench, maybe not to the level of
Not as
Armagh,
much, yeah.
and it could be, there's so little between these teams at the weekend, but that is a big advantage Armagh have in their locker.
But the last 3 times these guys have played, it's been a draw, right?
yeah.
So the group game this year, group game last year,
Last
and
one.
what-
Point win
Armagh
last
bet them by a point. Walsh
Last
played
kick
for
of the game, like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
and then
like,
draw.
It should have been a draw, yeah.
Yeah, should have been draw. But sorry, the Galway side, we might actually take a couple of questions in the next few minutes. But the Galway team you've come up against, like you beat them by a point in Salthill in the preliminary quarterfinals. What might have happened if you both topped the group and went straight through to a quarterfinal last year? We'll never know. This year, they beat you by a point in the Connacht final. You were in charge of that game for quite a bit. What are you seeing with this Galway team from the last couple of years and where they are now?
Yeah, well, if you take it back to when PJ came in first, he wanted to play, and I heard him this week talking about how he's probably a little bit naive in terms of how the game was going to be played. Obviously defensively very, very strong. Would have seen that with Cian O'Neill when he was with us.
Yeah.
That's obviously paramount to what they do, and they've got all of a sudden they've got some really, really good top defenders, and a lot of their game is based around that. I also think physically, I love the way that they actually go and kick the ball out long deliberately, and they're happy enough to lose.
Not many teams do that.
No, and they're saying, okay, and if you look at the Donegal game, they were struggling early doors and that.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we're going to keep going because we know we're going to win it. We're going to win enough of them that we're going to get enough scores off it.
And what happens when you go long and you're winning prime possession at the field? Does that give you extra legs later in the game?
Well, I think it, you're bypassing so many players. First of all, the attack is a lot quicker. You can get the ball to the likes of Finnerty, Walsh, Comer in more space, and you're getting the likes of McDade, McHugh coming up. It simplifies the game an awful lot more.
It does.
But it suits their players.
It does,
as well. They've got monsters across that midfield and half forward line. And if we've all played inside, the faster the transition, the better for the forward. If it's slow and it's ponderous and it's a short kick out and it takes 60 seconds to transition up the pitch, there's no space. Whereas you go long, there's a risk you might lose it. But instead of, you could be in the opposition's 45 within 3 seconds, there's space then. And Galway have the quality to exploit that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if you're going up against Gleeson, Gleeson knows he's going out there next day to kick the ball long.
Yeah.
Do Armagh just sit out and go, here,
They
give
will.
the ball, and does he still go over, because then all of a sudden it's a game of cat and mouse. And I just think that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Does he tease him into a short and see if he goes there? Because I think he's just going to go as long as he can.
I could see Armagh. Do you remember Loud played Dublin?
Yeah.
And Loud did
Leinster
retreating off the kick out, fucking
They just legged it.
They went back to their own 45.
Yeah.
But they won't go that far. I could see Armagh just nullifying that Galway kick out by dropping way off.
Yeah.
Because, and I actually think it has Cian O'Neill all over it. Do you remember that ring of steel that Cian used to say? He brought it down from me to us.
Did he?
We were his next
The
job.
hurlers, us.
Yeah, we were his next job after Mayo. I had this ring of steel where he got big fellas over one side and he had all planned runners to get under the brakes. He loves the long kick out.
Okay.
I think it's him all over it. But Armagh can't be beaten on that because if Galway win it clean, I know from being corner forward myself, as soon as the ball goes long, you're one pass away from being in the game. If Walsh and Comer are one pass away after Galway catch it, they can cause wreck. So I can't see Armagh falling for that. I'd be shocked.
Okay. We're here in McGrattan Spar tonight with a few Football Pod members. Thanks very much for coming out. We're here with thanks to AIB, proud sponsors of the Senior Football Championship. Check out #TheToughest for more. Does anyone want to put a question to Paddy or James or Aidan? We'll just let this man go first and I'll come to you then after that. Is that okay? What's your name?
Sorry.
John. Lovely.
Oh, there's a mic. There is.
No, you're next. Sorry.
The lads think that did the lads think that Johnny Marr or Liam Silk could pick up Rian O'Neill on Sunday?
Just one is you go with that.
I think Mar's too important for his industry around the middle to be given a detail. I know he did it against Fenton, but I just think I can't see him going man to man with Rian. I think just the amount of work he does that allows the likes of Conroy to get on the ball. I think he just does the work of 2 or 3 men. He's outrageous, what he does.
Do you notice that when you're playing against him?
Yeah, he just seems his energy around the pitch. It's not like he's lightning fast, but he's at that trot and that you just can stay at it all the time.
He has a few dummies and steps.
Yeah,
and
He's
silky
awkward.
enough.
He's awkward to play against.
Yeah, but I wouldn't see him on Rian. Dylan McHugh might pick him up. I think if he floats into the forward line, he could. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Would that be taking away from Dylan McHugh?
McHugh is cute enough though to cheat,
Yeah,
is he not?
he's-
No?
Because when they
He
go,
put
they
Rian
go.
on the back foot anyway,
Yeah.
at least. Kerry put Gavin White on Rian.
Yeah.
And it worked in the first 15 minutes, but physically, Rian's a big boy.
Yeah, he is.
I think you need someone to physically match him.
I think Rian's going to play a lot of time in the forward line. So
Really?
yeah. So like if that's he did he tried to pull White inside.
Yeah.
So if he does that, then like Fitzgerald will probably pick him up. It's like they've got Galway. The problem for Galway is if they go with too big inside, right? If they go Murnan and they go Rian O'Neill, who matches up with them? So like
Silk will go back on one.
So Silk goes back on
Size-wise,
Fitzgerald.
who goes? Yeah.
Yeah. So like
we have to remember, Silk struggled with Gallen in the first half of that. Like, Gallen scores 3 points for playoff when Silk is in the man-to-man role. He excels when he goes and he kicks that winner and unbelievable score on his left foot.
3-2
further out the pitch.
2 of them off.
But one of the big pluses I see with Galway, if you look from the Donegal game, was Donegal's running game was causing havoc for teams. Peter Morgan, Ryan McHugh, Owen Bon Gallagher and these guys. I was going, what are Galway going to do with these? We were up in level 7. What great view of it. They kept Walsh, Conroy and Finnerty up the pitch. Unbelievably brave.
Like they're playing the new rules.
And I said, like, just keep you 3 guys up. And they backed their 12. They didn't go man-to-man on anyone. They put Silk on Gallen, but they brought 12 defenders back, really narrow, left the wide channels open, and they didn't go man-to-man around with anyone. They left boys out the pitch and said, okay, we might give up a few long-range scores with Langan and Thompson.
Langan did swing over
but that,
4 buttes.
4. If they, like Rian will
that's not going to be enough to win the game. Galway just said, we're not going to concede a goal here.
Yeah.
So they didn't go man-to-man. They had a defensive structure which shut down a major threat for Donegal, and they adapted to that challenge. And that's the beauty of what Cian O'Neill brings in, or Divo there.
Okay.
Galway will play. They mightn't necessarily worry about Rian O'Neill specifically, but they'll have a system to stop. How do we shut down the influence of Turbot, O'Neill? Maybe not concede goals, but we're happy to maybe let Armagh try long range shots and maybe get to 13 or 14 points. So it's they'll have something in plan for it.
Kathleen, who else have we got there?
I'll have one here for Aidan, please. Just considering
What's your name before you got to put your name on the record?
Ricky.
Ricky, good man.
Nixon.
Just considering you've marked Sean Kelly so many times before, what does he, if he's fit, what does he offer Galway, and where would you play him the next day?
The question mark is obviously a brilliant player, really, really brilliant player. I think I always thought he's most effective when he plays full back. I think personally, since they've moved him out of there, I don't think he's been effective because it's very difficult for me or anybody else who marks in that position to go back with him all the time. And then when somebody else has to pick him, he kind of gets lost in the transition of the attack. Comes late.
Yeah.
And you think of some of the, he's got some great goals coming late around.
He's got more scores from full back than he has actually anywhere else.
But even assists from there as well.
Yeah, I don't think he will play full back, obviously, but I think that's his best position and how he's been most effective for Galway. The interesting thing about whether he plays or not is obviously he's a better footballer than Cian Darcy, but Cian Darcy gives him the size on the kick out that they want. So it's an interesting dynamic around I hope for him he is fit to start. He's obviously a brilliant
Were they playing
footballer.
him out the field because of his body? Do you know the way, like, you're not going to be playing full back if your hamstring can go, or if your ankle, you can't turn sharply. Like, you kind of get away with...
It's more space.
There's more space. You're not going to be completely cut out if you're playing around the middle.
I always think if you're good at full back, people always go, we could definitely get more out of this fella out the field somewhere. Like, there's always this narrative like, oh, he's too good to be playing full back. Let's put him out the field. So I think it wasn't the injuries. I think they thought they could get more legs and stuff up the field. But I think he's best position is full back. He won't play there if he plays.
How did you get on when you were marking him?
The problem is that he just literally, if there's any turnover, he's gone. And you're kind of going, in that quick transition, you're like, you've got a decision to make. Do you kind of sit?
Pass him on.
Pass him. Like, a lot of fighting going on.
Andy Moore made that in art, didn't he? Passing it on.
Oh, he was an absolute master at it, yeah.
He just got on tying his boots there. Fuck, he's gone. Shit.
Okay. Two good questions. Anyone else have a question they want to put up? You can give us a shout there. What's your name?
I figured this question was going to come sometime tonight.
Q answer.
Better you than me asking it.
What have I written down here? This one. No, it's just, it's actually funny. History repeating itself a little bit in terms of, you look at the 90s, 96, 97, Mayo probably won the majority of the kind of titles in that 90s era, and then Galway come along and win too. Look, it's more the narrative that's out there. obviously a few mates in that Galway team. I wouldn't begrudge them at all winning All Ireland medal. Absolutely fair play to them. We've been there a good few times and didn't grasp our opportunity. So if Galway grasp our opportunity on Sunday, all power to them. And it won't be that I'll be begrudging anybody winning All Ireland medal. It's very hard to win it. I know that these boys have a couple of them. So it's a difficult championship at the moment to try and win it. There's a lot of teams in around the same level, and if Galway pull it through in terms of where they've been with all the injuries they've got, Shane Walsh struggling with injury, Comer can't get a run in terms of injury, Sean Kelly the same. It's a massive achievement.
Yeah, no, it is.
Just in terms of the forwards on Sunday, you often hear goals win games. Who do you think between Armagh and Galway have the better set of forwards, subs included?
I think Galway have the better forwards. Comer is so dangerous if he's
Hold on a
isolated
sec.
with a fella.
You think Galway have the better forwards? You picked the team during the week with 5 Armagh forwards then.
5 Armagh. How dare you? This is Tommy again with the Porkies. I had Walsh, Comer, McDade.
Okay, you did, yeah.
And
you started Timmy Campbell.
Have anyone else? I think Walsh on his day is the silkiest, classiest player in the country. He's probably in the top 3 players, but like silky, the points he can kick are outrageous. He actually doesn't have that many goals in him. Actually, now that we think about it, he doesn't. He'll create a goal rather than get one, maybe. But Comer, there's something about Comer that when he's on it and he's this big physical presence and he wants to take men on, the crowd love it, the opposition hate it. I just think there's something in that duo if they can get the chemistry right on Sunday.
Finnerty in form.
Finnerty, brilliant player, but these two are, I think they're a level slightly above Finnerty at the moment.
Okay.
But Finnerty's been carrying that knee injury as well. I think Finnerty can get there. But if those two can show the chemistry that they haven't yet, because one plays well, the other maybe doesn't.
Okay.
If they can both play 7 or 8 out of 10.
That's a problem for that whole. Like Galway, if you look at 2 wing forwards, who are 2 ideal prototype wing forwards you'd want? Killian McDade and Matty Tierney. But McDade was brilliant against Dublin. Matty Tierney, we're still waiting for that massive performance. Comer and Walsh are as good as anything inside. Finnerty complements them well. If that Galway unit, and you compare, and I know Armagh have Turbot, who is having season of his life for Rian O'Neill. Grugan's a really smart player. They have loads of pluses. But if you're talking, and we said this on the pod during the week, the ceiling of both of these 2 teams, if that Galway unit clicks, those 6 forwards play to their potential and complement each other, I'd say they're probably the best in the country, never mind in terms of comparing it to Armagh. So that's the question mark. We haven't seen it from Galway yet. It's been too patchy. One guy has a brilliant game, the other 2 or 3 are quiet. If they all click, they'll win this game on Sunday, hands down. But we haven't seen it yet.
Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think in fairness, the question was in terms of the subs as well. And I think that's there's probably the expectation that if Shane Walsh over the last couple of games has come off, so if he's not on the pitch in the last 10, 12 minutes, that's a massive fill up for Armagh. And I think there's some really good players coming off the bench. Like Campbell, he's like Kev McPhee. He's like a guaranteed score. So in terms of the overall package, I think you're right in terms of starting wise. There's obviously the upside if the boys go well. But I think Armagh off the bench impact is huge. And I think Grugan's a cracking player. Yeah. I don't think he's been at his absolute best yet. I think there could be something there on Sunday for him. I think
he was the year after you, minor, was he, or maybe the year?
Yeah, they beat Mayo in the Killian's year. Yeah, yeah. Himself and Mernon.
Mernon was full forward.
Good team. We might take 1 or 2 more, lads, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up and grab pointers. Yeah, that's you. Yeah.
The Galway jersey.
Is it a Galway
It's
jersey?
actually a UL jersey, but
Oh,
it's
is
in
it?
the Galway colours,
The light,
so I
the
said
light.
I'd wear it.
What's your name?
Saoirse.
How are you, Saoirse? Go on.
Yeah, all good. I was just wondering, who's player of the year so far, if you were to answer right now?
Aidan, you're on the spot.
That's a great question.
Do you know the front runners? I can give you the front runners.
Well, I'll guess them.
Go on, go for it.
Dylan McHugh, Turbo.
Yeah. I'm not actually sure who's after that, but they are the 2 front runners.
I'd say they're 2 front runners.
Rian O'Neill's in the mix if he has a big day.
The final is so important.
So important.
It is.
If you
worth
get man of the
treble,
match in the final, it's worth 40% of the vote.
It's wide open,
10x.
actually, isn't it? But you know, this year of all years, I think that half-backs are running the game. Like the attacks are slow, right? The inside forwards are being marshalled. Halfbacks are coming late. They're the ones dictating the play on the outside, and they're sneaking in for scores. Like the halfbacks are now becoming so influential. They're running the game from there.
Can I throw a name into the mix? Because I think that's interesting what you're saying. He's lined out half-back a bit, but he's done man-marking jobs and bomb forward. And if he has a big day the next day,
Cambridge.
he'll go along with it. Could McCambridge be in the mix? Fellow didn't start.
Yeah, he was carrying knocks to start of the year.
He'll be on.
But like how
Walsh
big a job
on
he's
Sunday, will
done in every single game.
I wouldn't put him into that category yet.
He couldn't have a man marker getting football of the year. He couldn't bring himself to say that.
A decade on from you winning it yourself.
Yeah, great
So
decision.
go on. Who would you go for before James gives? Does it all depend on Sunday?
I think it depends. I think it's very tight. There's probably 4 or 5 in the mix. If somebody has a big,
Connery is have an incredible season.
Yeah.
If someone grabs this game for the scuff of the neck on Sunday, and it's Paul Connery gets 3 points for playing, gets man of the match, or Rian O'Neill wins this thing for Armagh, or Turbot goes and really announces himself, hits 1 forward, that will swing it. There's a lot of it's tight. It's probably
I think the
those 4 or 5.
best player has been Turbot. That's my view. He's been out. I think like, if
Consistent.
you like go through the whole like
consistency.
from the whole start of the season, he's been.
And you look at last year, him being dropped at times during championship games or coming back.
They dropped him.
Do you know what?
McGeady managed those
It's a big
so
deal.
well.
It's free car for life, isn't it?
Free car. The car was gone. If I won it in 14,
You're still
the
in
You and
the
Richie Hogan shared the car.
award in 2013.
You
Huh?
shared the car, didn't you?
No, we just took a photo inside in the car and they fucked us off.
All right.
It was
we're not bitter.
two free drink vouchers for some pub.
James's club championship tomorrow. He's actually going back to Clarendon tonight. So we're going to take one more question. Kathleen, who have we got?
Sorry, Ronan here. This is a question for Aidan. I just wanted to ask, how difficult is it for teams to compete for both the league and the championship now? Given the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot of there's been 2 Division 2 teams now in the All-Ireland final. And is it possible to compete for both now, given the new structure?
Yeah, it's another good question. I think it's a massive challenge. I think the problem is, like, if you look at Galway, had injuries throughout the league, the actual frequency of games is very difficult. And to try and get up for, 6, 7 league games and win a National League title and then roll in like we did last year into a championship game 6, 7 days later, it's very, very difficult. And you want to be probably hitting your provincial championships in very fresh, not having exerted too much energy during the league. Obviously, you want to survive, all that good stuff, but I don't think it's probably in the current structure probably the most advisable thing to be going balls out for a league title. I think it's
the biggest thing with this structure then, that because the league's incredible competition.
Yeah.
We've all
And
played
you're
it.
saving yourself during
we
it.
love the games. There's only 3 fucking competitions: the league, the provincial championship, and then the All Ireland. And I think it's a shame. And I like loads of aspects of the split season, but the fact that the National League is now, there's teams actively trying not to win the thing, just devalues the whole thing. For such a brilliant competition, they need to. Because you're right, you guys. Last year, the Rossies getting you. The following week, Dublin and Derry, look at flying it during the National League, and 6 weeks later, they both run out of gas completely. So it's too important a competition to have it to be sacrificing the thing.
Did you talk about that, like going for a different approach this year as opposed to last year, or was it?
Not really. Like, I mean, like the first year, obviously Kevin came in, we were just, just go
Mad for road.
Just mad for road. Let's go win some games, and then like some of those games were tight, and then all of a sudden you can land in a, yourself. You get to like the end, like round 6 or round 7 of the league, and you're kind of going, win this weekend. We're in a final. You end up in a final or semi-final back in, and then you go, right, let's go try and win this.
Kevin spoke a lot this year about rhythm and keeping in control, and I know it didn't happen that way, but it was a big conversation this year, being in control in the group stage of your destiny for the quarter final.
Yeah, But I don't think we change anything hugely, but maybe just in terms of load and training, all that stuff, that scientific stuff that they'd be at. I presume we didn't probably go after some of the games as much as we wanted. I think we were happy enough once we got to a certain amount of points that we didn't. It wasn't talked about that. You don't say that in a dressing room where you go, right, lads, we're not going to go and try. It's we're going to
lose this one.
Yeah, But
oh God.
We didn't change it, but the whole idea was try and get out of the group, top the group, and get 2 weeks into a quarter final. But obviously, we failed on that against Dublin.
It's been a really interesting hour with you. Thanks very much for coming up and chatting with us. toughest question of the night. We've struggled with this all year long. Predictions. Can you give us your prediction of what way you think
Can't say
the
draw.
2024 All-Ireland final? No, I've already taken the draw. What have you gone already this week?
I think Galway will win.
You both Galway, aren't you?
Galway extra time.
Oof.
Aidan O'Shea, you're going to leave a full house here for Galway.
Yeah, there's a kind of just a bit of like with Galway. I just think it's kind of looks like it's just going to happen. You know, everything seems to just be kind of
not dangerous though.
No, I think they're in a like they've been winning games without like, and no offense to those players, but some of them haven't been playing. Their best players haven't been playing fantastically, and they're winning games. That's a great position to be in going into a final. And I know they're favourites, and there's probably a bit of pressure in that way. But geez, like if you were, you know, Damien Comer had played 3 unbelievable games in a row, but like, Jesus, he's probably can't wait to get out there on Sunday. And Walsh, you know, he's obviously building up his fitness back up again. I just think the way things are falling for them, I have a feeling Galway are going to win it.
It's interesting.
I like even with Galway, they didn't play great in that semi-final, and
Against Donegal.
you know they left a bit in the tank. There's
more
more
in
to them. There's way more. in them,
There is,
definitely. There is, and even in terms of they weren't jumping up and down all over the place after winning that game. Do you know, it was like
You mean it was more controlled, really?
yeah.
Okay.
Whereas with Armagh, it was such a weight off the shoulders and a great win for the group, and like they would have had to come down to get back up.
Yeah.
I think that the Galway are just on kind of a path that way, whereas Armagh are kind of up and down emotionally. I think that Galway are just stable and ready to.
We said
pull the
last,
trigger.
there's more question marks around Armagh's performance. You're not entirely sure what way they're going to approach the game tactically, mentally. That's the first All-Ireland final for all of them. Will that be a burden for them? Will they throw the shackles off completely and we'll get the last 30 minutes against Kerry? We're not sure on what's going to come out of Armagh on Sunday. I think you're more confident of what you'll get from Galway, and they're creeping up and up and up, and they've won some massive games, taking out Dublin, taking out the Ulster champions, but it feels like there's way more in the tank for them. And like that is, Ada, you said it, that's a brilliant position to be in going into this final.
The only when I look at the last 2 games of like, and you were talking about scoring zones, if you look at the Galway scoring zone, like they've kicked some massive points against Dublin, and against Donegal. Like they've kicked monsters, like, and I know they've got massive kickers that can kick long range points, but the sustainability of that, you wouldn't be allowed to kick them if Jim Gavin was manager. Like I put it that way, like you'd be running it in and fisting it over the bar. So I think they need to get a couple of more, what I would call handy scores.
Well, I think what the lads have been saying for the last few weeks, the lads clicking inside. I don't think we've seen that chemistry. Yeah. Okay. Nicely said. Thanks very much for everyone for coming out tonight. It's been lovely having you here and for tuning in to us all year long. Thanks to AIB for keeping the show on the road and bringing us on the road as well. Twice this week isn't too bad. Paddy and James, well done.
That was all right.
Aidan O'Shea, best of luck with the club this year. Well done on the season with Mayo. I hope we see you back again next year.
Good luck with the wedding.
We leave that up to you. And best of luck
That's
with the wedding. Is there a hen going on in Clarny this weekend?
There's they kind of drag it out. So it's the posh hen now this weekend. Okay. So they went to Barcelona on the real hen, and it's the posh hen now this weekend. So yeah, they'll have a good time, I'm sure.
Best of luck with everything like that, and we might grab a pint here. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you again.
Thanks
very much.